Notice the small thing you do in an elevator. The doors close, there's nothing to do for 9 seconds, and your hand is already moving toward your pocket before you have decided anything at all. You do it in the queue, you do it at the red light, you do it in the half second after you wake, before your eyes have fully opened, before a single thought has had the chance to finish itself. We tell ourselves this is a habit. A bad one, maybe, but harmless. A fidget, a tick, a way to pass the time. It is not. What you are reaching for is not the phone. You are reaching past the phone, towards something it covers. You are reaching for it to make sure the quiet does not arrive. Ask yourself a plain question. When was the last time a thought finished on its own, wandered, doubled back, surprised you, before something pulled you out of it? Not a notification you answered, just the reflex, the reach for the small rectangle of light in the exact moment a silence was about to open. We talk about being addicted to our phones as if the device were the drug. But you can feel, if you are honest, that the pull is not toward the screen. It is away from the thing underneath it. We are not addicted to the phone. We are afraid of the silence the phone keeps filling. There used to be a great deal of that silence, and it was distributed in small amounts across an ordinary day, the wait for a bus, the walk to the shop with nothing in your ears, the 5 minutes in a doctor's office with an old magazine you did not read. These were not empty minutes. They were the minutes in which a mind, left with nothing to consume, started producing instead. A grudge softened. A sentence you needed to say to someone arranged itself. An idea you did not know you had arrived sideways, uninvited, because there was finally room for it. That ground is gone now. Every one of those gaps has been paved over with a buzz, a feed, a screen that lights the moment your attention has nowhere to go. And here is what nobody tells you about paving over the gaps. You did not just lose the boredom, you lost everything the boredom was quietly making. The phone has become a kind of pacemaker for the inner life. It fires into every pause before the pause can do its work, so the rhythm never falters, and you have slowly, without noticing, stopped having the thoughts that only stillness produces. We should be careful with the word for what we lost, because the word has been spoiled. Solitude. It sounds like a punishment now, like loneliness with better lighting. But solitude was never emptiness. It was the one condition under which a person actually forms. It is where you find out what you think when no one is performing for you and no one is watching. It is the soil. A self grows in it slowly, in the dark, the way most living things do. What we did was simple, and we did it without a decision. We traded that soil for proximity. We filled the silence with other people's voices, other people's faces, an endless supply of company. And we called the trade connection. Look closely at what that company actually is. Someone's face, in high definition, warm and close and available at any hour. The little rush of being messaged. The feeling of being surrounded. It gives you the chemicals of closeness without the cost of it. The glow of intimacy with none of the exposure. You get to feel near someone without ever risking the thing that makes nearness mean anything. Being genuinely seen and not being able to control what they see. Because real intimacy was never the warmth. The warmth is the easy part. Real intimacy is the friction. Another person who is not you, who wants things you did not predict, who pushes back, who will not dissolve into the shape you wanted. And that is exactly the part we have engineered out. The feed reflects you to yourself. The recommendations learn your taste and feed it back. The companion that answers in your pocket agrees, adjusts, flatters, never tires, never has a worse day than you, never needs anything. It is a mirror that never pushes back. And a mirror, however bright, however responsive, cannot do the one thing another person is for. It cannot meet you as something other than yourself. That otherness, the resistance of a separate mind, was the entire point. Now follow the damage inward, because this is where it goes. A mind interrupted every 90 seconds never reaches the slow states. It never sinks far enough to arrive at the floor of itself. There is a depth you only reach by staying still long enough to get past the surface restlessness, past the itch, past the first wave of discomfort, into something quieter underneath. That is where you meet yourself. Not the curated self, not the performing self, the one that is actually there. We do not go there anymore. The moment the discomfort starts, the faint dread, the boredom, the unstructured ache of an ordinary Tuesday, the hand moves, the light comes on, and the descent is canceled before it begins. So you never learn the one skill the whole inner life is built on. You never learn to sit with your own discomfort without reaching for something to make it stop. And now the turn, the thing this whole thing has been walking toward. We assume the danger of all this is that we will end up alone, that the phone isolates us, that connection is what we are losing, but that is backwards. Look again. Because you cannot bear to be alone, you have quietly become worse at being together. Sit with that, because it is the opposite of what it feels like. The person who cannot tolerate their own company does not become a better companion to others. They become a worse one. They start using the people around them the way they use the phone, as a way to not be alone with themselves. You have felt this from the other side, even if you did not name it. The friend who is with you, but elsewhere. The dinner where everyone is present and no one is reachable. The lover who reaches for the screen in the exact moment the silence between you turns honest and a little frightening. They are not bored of you. They are fleeing the same thing you flee. They are using your presence to escape their own. This is the cost, and it is steeper than loneliness. A self that was never forged in solitude is fragile. It has no floor. It was never made to stand on its own because it was never asked to. And a relationship is two of these selves trying to hold each other. When the first real friction comes, the disappointment, the silence that needs to be endured, the night that asks you to simply stay and feel something hard without numbing it, neither one can hold still long enough to be known. Both reach for the light. The thing collapses, not from a lack of love, but from a lack of capacity. Neither person ever built the muscle for stillness, and intimacy is made almost entirely of stillness held in common. So what is the way back? Not a detox. I want to be careful here because the detox is just the same anxiety wearing a halo, willpower, streaks, a war against the device, the same restlessness pointed in a different direction. The way back is smaller and stranger than that. It is to let the silence return on purpose and not flinch when it does. To stand in the elevator and leave the hand where it is. To take the walk with nothing in your ears and let the first wave of boredom come, and the second, and to stay just past the point where you would normally reach. Because something is waiting on the other side of that discomfort, and it has been waiting the whole time. It is the thought that did not get to finish. It is the version of you that forms only when no one is watching and nothing is being fed in. The tools are not the enemy. A tool can deepen an inner life, or it can replace one. And the difference is whether you bring a self to it or go there to avoid having one. That choice is yours, and it is still open. The silence between the notifications is not a glitch in the day to be patched over. It is the only room you have that is genuinely your own. And it is still there, untouched, every time you are brave enough to stop reaching, waiting just past the buzz on the far side of 9 quiet seconds for you to come back in.